Team culture is what makes or breaks a team and determines really if a player will play for the rest of their lives or will completely quit the sport entirely. Hello and welcome back to the Modern Grassroots podcast. I'm your host, Jordan. And as you can tell from the very beginning, today's topic is team culture. Now, there's so many different areas that we can go with this, but today I'm hyper focusing on how to make a team culture, a positive team culture, quickly. And by quickly, I mean literally within months to weeks to maybe even days. It depends on how we apply it. So, just a quick breakdown on team culture and what it really means and what it really allows. So, a good team culture, as I've talked about in the past, a good team culture will set the standard for the team. That's what every new player, every player currently on the team will acclimatize to. That's what's going to tell us how well the team will do going forward. Now, what's super incredibly important to understand with team culture is that in order for it to be a success, everyone has to be bought in. So if you have a good team culture and you have one bad egg, or if you use the analogy of a bad fruit will poison all the other fruit around it, and then will bring all of them will be ruined. It's the same with team culture. If you don't have complete buy-in from your team, from the players, from the coaches, from the parents is the toughest one, then yes, you will have your team culture won't be as good as it can be. But today I'm going to go over some tactical ways that we can create a team culture very, very quickly. For me and myself, a little bit of background. I've had about 4 teams that I've coached, and all at varying degrees and varying levels of team culture. The most recent one I was with was a 2011 group of boys. The team culture at the start was good. I think I took over at a good time where they were just young enough that they were starting to become teenagers and starting to become their own selves with their own personalities. So luckily, me and my assistant coach were able to foster a very growth oriented mindset coming in. And luckily, we did have parents that already, believed in their players. Yes, some of them wanted to move up, which is completely fine, but they were positive. They weren't toxic. Everyone had a part to play. And it was such a beautiful thing because 2.5 years later, you had players that had moved up, but everyone was still involved in the sport. Everyone was playing at various levels going around. And that's really the goal. The goal isn't always to have players that are playing at the ECNL level, the APDL level if you're in Canada. The goal is to keep them in the sport as long as humanly possible, preferably until they can't walk anymore. So, for what we did, it was very, very easy. Maybe not easy, but simple and straightforward. So, when I got there, very much sat down or talked to the parents and let them know my own style, that I was going to be the coach, they were going to be the parents, and that's how we coexisted. And so from then on, it was very, very easy for us to find our roles. So going to start, you need your roles. Your coaches coach, your players play, and your parents cheer them on from the sidelines as bloody hard as they can. And once you start from there, everything gets easier. So once that was the foundation of everything, then going forward, it was coming into Christmas time, probably about 2 months after, that we were able to have a Christmas party that 80% of people were able to attend. Christmas, people go and do their own things, but it was a nice way for all of us to get together nice and quickly in a non-soccer related way. I think we did it after a soccer game, but like everyone forgot about the game and it was just there as a Christmas party. And it was really cool to see just everyone just interact in a non-soccer way. That is the easiest way. The easiest way to develop a team culture quickly is by doing something non-soccer related or whatever sport you're doing. It's totally not the sport. We're talking about, I don't know, laser tag. We're talking about going to a social event. It could be, I don't know, it could be a play, it could be it could also be a sporting event. I know our boys went to the AHL hockey game for Calgary, the Calgary Wranglers. That's what they did. They went to one of those, and again, nothing soccer related, still sports, but nothing soccer related. Fundraising is one. Raffle tickets where they have to sell them together with like a partner. These little things add up. They create these little relationships with each other that then extend on throughout the entire team. It's almost like chain links together that they are just all throughout the team, and so you're closer. And so when you're on the field, you have that connection with those players, not only through a soccer lens where you're training every week, multiple times a week, playing every single week, but also there's this other part of you that is connected with them. And I don't know the neuroscience or anything like that, so someone could probably teach me that. But there's those little connections that you make are extremely important. And I don't think the the world understands that fully unless you've been a part of a sport or a group or a part of a team that came together and did something. You don't understand that these little things add up in the end. And so for the boys that would often do fundraising, often do activities that involve soccer, and then on top of that train their butts off every single week together and win and lose, they bonded so quickly. And so when players would move up to the next team, or maybe were dropped or whatever it was, I didn't drop too much, that the culture stayed. Everyone that came in that was new, just it was like a melting pot. They just came in and were part of the culture, and there wasn't any issues. There was a little bit of like movement at the beginning of the seasons, like in the beginning of 2025, there was a lot of movement. There was a couple players that moved up, and probably 4 or 5 players moved in that were brand new, and that was their best season. So the fact that we had so much movement, but yet it resulted in an undefeated season, no one beat us. We were incredibly hard to beat, and we were phenomenal. We played amazing. It's the best season that I've ever had as a coach in terms of, not just wins and losses, but truly how we played. We played free. And yes, we tied a lot, but at the same time, it was down to everyone knew their part. Everyone knew what their role was, and they accepted it, and they just dove into it, and it was this beautiful thing. And even with all the player movement, the culture, that the little core group of players that kept it and passed it on to new teammates, that's what kept it going. And so back to my coaches, if you want to create that team culture, you have to find a way to, to make the players understand that you're not just teammates on the field. Off the field, it's so, 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 so important to understand that you are your brothers or sisters, or you're together in everything. You're, everything matters. Everything matters. The way they think, the way they play, the way they talk to each other matters. Even when we'd have a small break in between games or in between practices, like a vacation or a long weekend, we would do fun activities at the start of the next training session in order to allow them to, again, have fun. It would be like stupid competitions that we would try and do and get them going. Just being a team and working things out. So if I were to say, if you want to build it quickly, you have to go deeper. As a coach, you have to go deeper. It's not enough. It's not enough for you just to put up cones every single week and tell them what to do, and then they're going to go home and feel great. You have to go deeper. Your conversations with them have to go beyond service level. You have to ask how their day was. They have to feel comfortable with you. If you show up pissed because of work, or you're not in the greatest mood, you just lost, or you're in a slump at the moment, the worst thing you can do is distance yourself from them and make them feel like they're not the most important thing, because they can feel that. You can feel it at work, or with your, heaven forbid, your spouse or a friend. You can tell. You listening right now, you can tell when you've pissed someone off, or you're not giving the energy. You can tell that they know. Or the reverse, you can tell if someone's put off by you. These kids are way more social than any of us adults are. Way more social. Think about what they do all day. They can pick up on those cues so fast. So you need to go in prepared to be open and vulnerable, and to allow them, and to, this just turned into a therapy session. You have to be vulnerable with them. You have to allow them to feel important and wanted. Because if you don't feel important or wanted, or if they feel nervous, or if they feel like they don't belong, then that's gonna hurt the team culture so much. And so my best advice to any coach is to, if you get a team, it's a brand new team with multiple new players, the best thing I can get you to do on day one is to play tic-tac-toe, is to play like activities where they're holding each other's hands, switch the teams up, make them band together, 3v3s, like little things to get them to team up and have like silly punishments, silly forfeits, all those things. And then within 2 weeks, have something non-soccer related. That can be ideally two things: fundraising, where they go door to door or they sell raffle tickets or something along the lines that I'm missing, and then something non-soccer related. So an art event, a sports event, a movie together. Maybe not a movie because you don't really talk to each other, but you need to do something with them. And those 2 weeks, if you can do those two things while also making it fun at practice, you're gonna build a good team culture. At the very least, it won't be a toxic one. Now, last little bit, when it comes to parents, they have to buy in, especially for youth sports under the ages of 15. The parents are the ones bringing them to the practice. The parents that bring them to the games, they're in charge partly of their playing time, how they show up and how prepared they are. And so for you need to be very vulnerable with the parents as well. And you need to be very, you need to put down guidelines and things that they must follow. You must put your role down as, I'm coach. We're doing this. I'm happy to talk to you about why I make these decisions and be vulnerable with them, because from my experience, the more you chat to parents and more you talk to them in like low risk environments, like having like coffee or on like soccer tournaments or even at those events, if you just talk to them in a relaxed setting and use that as a way to put down your boundaries, that they're gonna respect you way more and they'll respect those boundaries. The closer you are with the parents, the better their kids will develop. So you let me know what you guys think. If this was helpful, please let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Love you. Bye.